We're going to first start off with the big news that hit the presses this past week, which was Governor Murphy signing into law an update on the New Jersey mansion tax. So for context, mansion taxes. When you're a seller in the state of New Jersey, it's customary that you already pay something that's called realty transfer taxes. This is the tax that's applied when you transfer the asset of real estate to a new party. So if you're listening in other states, it's very common that, looking over the Delaware Water Gap from where I am in Pennsylvania, normally it's a split between buyer and seller to cover that realty transfer tax. In the state of New Jersey, though, that burden of cost falls squarely on sellers. That is separate from this New Jersey mansion tax. New Jersey mansion tax was 1%, and it was paid for by the buyer. So if you were buying a home that was $1 million or up, you paid 1% mansion tax. Where this money goes, we don't necessarily know, but this is a tax collected by the state. They do mention that this is to help with overall property tax relief throughout the state, but there was a new update. Here's what that update is. Governor Murphy signed into law that now the mansion tax is going to increase. So update number one, the mansion tax is increasing, and it's increasing across different price points now. Before, $1 million and up, you had a 1% mansion tax paid by the buyer. Now, if you are selling a home that's $1 million to $2 million, it is still 1%. However, that 1% is being paid by the seller now. So the seller is going to be paying this cost for all of the New Jersey mansion taxes. There's an additional update with the price bands. So there's going to be different cost structures now. When you get to $2 million to $2.5 million, that cost is going to be 2%. When you go from $2.5 million to $3 million, that is going to be 2.5%. When we get to $3 million to $3.5 million, that cost is 3%. And over $3.5 million, the mansion tax in New Jersey is now going to be 3.5%. All of these costs now paid by the seller of the property. This is on top of that real estate transfer tax that I mentioned. This applies to residential, some commercial, mixed-use properties, and certain vacant land sales. So this will be far-reaching in the state of New Jersey and definitely have a tangible impact on pricing and the market. The deadline for this, because of the timeline that was established in this bill, goes into effect July 10th. There's now going to be a rush to have certain transactions close to hopefully avoid the exposure to this real estate transfer tax. There could be a refund. For those who are closing, it really goes by when the deed is filed. When you purchase a property, a title company is involved. They're the ones acting as the settlement agent in the middle of everybody involved, collecting everybody's money, and then dispersing properly to the parties involved in the transaction and other service providers. In addition to doing this, the title company will also file documents at the county so that they are legally recorded documents with respect to the real estate transaction. This mansion tax, it will be going by when that deed gets filed at the county. If a seller is going to be selling and it closes before July 9th, right now it seems like the title company still needs to collect the amount of money as per this new legislation. However, the sellers will be able to apply for a refund. As long as that deed gets filed before July 9th, they'll be able to file for a refund to get reimbursement from the state for anything above the prior tax amount for that real estate transfer on a mansion, anything over $1 million. First, obviously, affecting seller net proceeds. This is going to drastically reduce the amount of money that a seller is going to net when they sell their property. There's going to be quite a hectic experience for the next week here in New Jersey because there's going to be a lot of people trying to get their closing in as soon as possible to try to avoid exposure to this new tax rate. The projected revenue for this is roughly $282 million for the state of New Jersey. That affects roughly 2 to 3% of New Jersey home sales. I'm in North Jersey. In Bergen County, some of those township averages are home values over $1 million. There's certain pockets and markets in the state of New Jersey that $1 million is not a mansion. That is just the cost of housing in these highly desirable areas. The additional projection is that this would provide property tax relief. This is what we are hearing as the narrative as it's being presented to us from Trenton. This is something that is going to be very difficult to manage. My heart goes out to my partners who are title representatives and people in the title insurance industry and the attorneys out there. This cannot be a fun time to have to manage client expectations with this type of curveball that's being sent. It's difficult to swallow with this, as we really don't have any accountability for our local government here in the state of New Jersey to know where this money is actually going to be going and if there's going to be a tangible benefit to a lion's share of homeowners in the state. Lastly, with this update, the home sellers, I want to go back to the comment I made about the pricing. In certain pockets, you're not getting a mansion. So this new legislation, these types of things are difficult and cumbersome to manage. So it's going to be interesting to see if this is something that will be able to get updated in the future. My personal opinion is that if they want to have this new cost structure, well, number one, putting the burden of cost on the sellers, I don't necessarily agree with. I know that they're sitting on a lot of equity. To me, it looks like more of a cash grab because they're sitting on that equity and the state has an opportunity to take a share of it. Secondly, the homes that are $1 million and up are no longer mansions in the state of New Jersey because of the higher price points. The averages in the state are above $550,000. That's actually the median sales price. So that's the most commonly occurring number. If we look at an average, that average could be higher because of the competition. We're in a highly desirable market here in New Jersey. So that's my 2 cents. We'll see what transpires after this and if new government in the state will make any adjustments or changes to this. Stay tuned. I'll keep you posted. But for my real estate professionals out there, this is important information, especially if you're looking to be listing any homes that are above $1 million.